good afternoon once again, everybody. Welcome to Comerica Park, the final game of the three-game series. The Red Sox and the Tigers. The rubber game in this three-game series, and the Tigers have taken the field, led by their starting pitcher, Nate Robertson. Let's take a look at the Red Sox starting lineup, brought to you by Dodge. Johnny Damon leads it off in center field. Kevin Youkilis at third base. Kevin Millar in left field. David Ortiz is the DH. Orlando Cabrera at shortstop. Doug Mirabelli doing the catching. David McCarty at first base. Bill Miller at second base. 7 for 20 over the last 6 games, hitting at .350. Gabe Kapler in right field bats ninth as the Red Sox go up against Nate Robertson.
Been a very decent season for Nate Robertson. Prior to this year, only had 14 games of Major League experience, but to see the record of 9-6 and very impressive 2.48 batting average against his first career appearance ever against the Red Sox. You know, he's a guy that they tell us, for fans who remember Mickey Lolich, he's got that kind of a breaking ball that can be effective both against left-handers and right-handers. The Tiger defense is brought to you by New England Toyota dealers, and it's a little bit different today. Eric Munson will be at third base. Jason Smith at shortstop, giving Carlos Guillen a day off. Omar Infante at second and Carlos Pena at first. Left to right, Marcus Timms, Alex Sanchez, and Craig Monroe just off the disabled list. Ivan Pudge Rodriguez back behind the plate today after a day off yesterday for the Tigers.
Greg Gibson has a plate for the umpires. Bruce Streckman at first base, Larry Poncino at second, and Jerry Davis, the umpire, at third. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game.
Buenas tardes, amigos.
First pitch of this one missing to Johnny Damon, and we are underway. Sunshine peltering down to the surface. Damon starting the day hitting at .300 with 13 homers and 56 RBIs, and he's aboard with a base hit. Lining one out of the reach of the first baseman, Carlos Pena, and Damon's on to begin the afternoon.
Now, Johnny Damon certainly has seen his share of left-handers on this road trip. The Red Sox have really faced a bunch of them. 285 against lefties coming into the game. He gets the fastball inside from Robertson. Mislocation. They wanted that ball away. It stayed inside, and Damon picks up the base hit.
So Damon aboard for Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis batting second today for the Red Sox, checking in at .268, 4 homers and 24 runs batted in. Youkilis over the last 7 games is just 2 for his last 20. It's left-handers so far. Youkilis hitting at .235, one of the 4 home runs he has against left-handers. Robertson falling behind 3-0.
Red Sox took advantage early last night of Jeremy Bonderman, who was having some problems early in the ball game.
Strike to Youkilis, and it's 3-1. Outfield set up deep and straight away on Youkilis as they check on Damon. A tough throw, but Carlos Pena able to reel it in as he holds on Johnny Damon over at first base. Youkilis taking another strike, and it's a full count now as he looks back in the direction of Greg Gibson.
I would guess they would have Damon running here on the 3-2 count.
Damon is off. Youkilis swinging away, pops it up into shallow right center field. Infante back, and he makes the catch for the first out. Damon able to get back to the bag at first. So Damon was indeed off with the pitch, but Youkilis pops out for the first out. So one down. Damon still at first base, and here's Kevin Millar, who checks in hitting at .299, 11 home runs and 42 runs batted in. As it turns out, Kevin was rather vocal about not being in the lineup last night, and the recent playing time that he has received after the trade deadline that brought Doug Medkevich to the Red Sox, and some comments last night. Did step away from some of those comments today, a day later, but a situation where you had to figure somebody was not going to be pleased as far as playing time goes, and Kevin Millar the first to say something.
Yeah, we talked about this in the pregame show today, and of course, you know, even Francona anticipated some players getting angry at the fact that they were not going to get proper playing time. The first guy to speak up was Millar. Unfortunately, it was to the media and not his manager.
To short, Jason Smith to second for one, on to first, and an inning-ending double play. Red Sox gone in the first. The Tigers coming up from Detroit. Bottom of the first inning back in Detroit. The Tigers are coming up. The Tigers lineup brought to you by Rico. Alex Sanchez leads it off in center field. Omar Infante at second base. Ivan Rodriguez doing the catching. Dimitri Young the DH. Carlos Pena at first base with Craig Monroe in right. Eric Munson at third base. Marcus Timms in left. And Jason Smith at shortstop as the Tigers go up against Tim Wakefield.
Wakefield on a 2-game winning streak, wins against Baltimore and Tampa Bay. His last time out, David McCarty helped him out with a 3-run home run in that ball game. He'll be looking for his first win ever here at Comerica Park. He is 0-2, 9-8 in his career against the Detroit Tigers.
Alex Sanchez, the leadoff hitter and center fielder for the Tigers. Fine season for Sanchez, a batting average at .326. With 2 homers and 26 runs batted in. Over the last 16 games, he's been hitting at a .365 clip. And taking that time to make it 2-1. And on the grass at third is Kevin Youkilis. Sanchez entertains any thoughts of dropping down a bunt, which he frequently does. On the ground this time to first, and David McCarty takes it himself for the inning's first out.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you today by Lexus, and it's Kevin Youkilis down at third base, Orlando Cabrera the shortstop, Bill Miller at second, David McCarty at first, left to right Kevin Millar, Johnny Damon, and Gabe Kapler, and Doug Mirabelli doing the catching for Tim Wakefield as always.
One away for Omar Infante, a second baseman for the Tigers. Infante starting the day hitting at .275 with 10 homers and 35 runs driven in. He's 1 for 4 here last night with a double. Lifted in the air to left field. Millar ranging over and in. Takes care of out number 2, and there's 2 away.
A lot of glare in this ballpark in day games. Of course, we've been here for back-to-back night games Friday and Saturday, but this looks to be a tough ballpark during the day.
And another good crowd on hand here for the day game after 2 sellouts back-to-back. Looks like today may be close once again. A lot of fans up in the standing room areas, out in left center and right center field. And why not? A picture-perfect day from Detroit. Ivan Rodriguez, who had last night off, back in there today and takes the strike from Tim Wakefield.
He's been struggling. Only 4 for his last 33. He has dropped the 3rd in the league in hitting behind Ichiro and Melvin Mora.
The left field hit well. Millar heading back. It's headed towards the pole, and it is headed out of here. A solo home run for Ivan Rodriguez, his 14th home run of the year, puts the Tigers on top 1-0.
Well, how's that for timing as far as struggling goes? 4 for 33, but he gets a knuckleball that stays up high and pulls it right down the line for his 14th home run of the season. That ball stayed up around the D on that jersey, and usually when those are hit, they go a long way. So the day off yesterday apparently doing Pudge Rodriguez some good.
Now Dimitri Young sends one foul off the right side, the designated hitter. Young at .282, 7 homers and 31 runs driven in. A strike has him down very quickly, 0-2. Is that a nice series against the Red Sox? With a couple of RBIs. This one fouled off again back into the seats. Mitchell Young, one of the Tigers who was here for the dreadful season last year and is far more enjoying this season as the Tigers have been much more competitive this season. Well, Trammell's Tigers come in 8 games under 500, 51-59 their record, but a far cry from the 119 loss season a year ago. Softly chopped to third. Youkilis on the run, throws high. McCarty's tall, and he stays on the bag for the out. Nicely done by David McCarty. A home run for Ivan Rodriguez as the Tigers on top 1-0. Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy along with Eric Fried back in Detroit. Tigers on top 1-0 after an Ivan Rodriguez home run in the last half of the first inning. It's on to inning number 2. David Ortiz, Orlando Cabrera, and Doug Marabelli to face Nate Robertson. He surrendered a leadoff single to Johnny Damon in the first, but Damon was erased on an inning-ending double play. David Ortiz taking a first pitch strike. Ortiz back in there today after being reinserted in the Red Sox lineup last night after serving the 5-game suspension. And Ortiz back in there, but Manny Ramirez is not today, still with the flu-like symptoms, and the Red Sox announcing that just before the game, as the Red Sox with a very late bus today with no batting practice, the final game of the road trip, and kind of a late arriving bus. The original lineup today had Manny Ramirez in the lineup, but once Manny arrived, he went right to Terry Francona's office and was taken out of the lineup today with the flu-like symptoms. Carlos Pena handles the first out, 1 down.
We'll join Tim Wakefield and Johnny Damon for the Pitching In for Kids All-Star Charity Golf Classic kickoff party Thursday night at 7 o'clock at the Comedy Connection in Faneuil Hall Marketplace. Proceeds benefit the Ron Burton Training Village and the Franciscan Hospital for Children. For more information or to purchase tickets, log on to pitchinginforkids.org.
1 down for Orlando Cabrera, the Red Sox shortstop.
Yeah, I think that Terry Francona fully expected Manny to be in the lineup today. And you mentioned, Don, it was no batting practice, so late bus. And as soon as Manny came into the clubhouse, he scratched himself from that lineup. You know, Manny has cost me more whiteouts since the All-Star break than any other player in the Red Sox.
I wonder if he's aware of that. So the ink I use, it doesn't matter. The whiteout doesn't even take care of it. So I have to start from scratch. I've actually had to use different cards where you have whiteout everywhere.
I'm just about running out, too, so I've got to reload when I get back home.
The 2-1 to Cabrera is in there for a strike, and the count 2-2. David McCarty was not in the original Red Sox starting lineup today, but as part of the reshuffle, McCarty gets to start at first base defensively. And David has already contributed with a nice play at first base. Cabrera hits it hard and eats up Eric Munson. Down the line into left field. Cabrera thinking too as Timms with the throw to second base, and a double for Cabrera. A hot shot down the line at third, and he stands at second base.
2 strikes, and Robertson goes upstairs with a high pitch. Cabrera gets on top of it, gets the hands above the baseball and rifles it right down that left field line. He's thinking about 2 bases right out of the batter's box. Easily in the second base with a double, his 4th hit as a member of the Red Sox.
So 1 down, Cabrera at second base, and here's Doug Marabelli handling the catching duties again today with Tim Wakefield getting the start. Marabelli overall at .287, 7 home runs and 17 runs batted in. Not a lot of playing time on the road trip so far, just 2 for 4 on the trip. He's done especially well against left-handed pitching, hitting at .393 on the season against left-handers. 3 of the 7 home runs he has coming against lefties. See the numbers with runners in scoring position. There goes Cabrera for third. The pitch, a ball, the throw down, not in time. Ivan Rodriguez made that a relatively close play, but it looked at first like Cabrera was going to have that stolen easily.
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, that was a great jump at second base by Cabrera. It was, you know, he had about 3 or 4 steps before that pitcher even was delivering the pitch home. Look at him go. And but watch how quickly Pudge Rodriguez makes up the time down at third base. Fortunately, Cabrera in safe, but boy, Pudge Rodriguez still some of the quickest hands and quickest feet that you'll ever see on a catcher. How about this? The Tigers with the 1-run lead in this game, and they're pulling the infield in here in the second inning.
Mirabelli trying to drive it through, and he fouls it off, backing out of play. 2-2 now to Mirabelli, with Cabrera standing at third base, 1 out in the inning, and that infield in right at the lip of the grass all the way around for the Tigers. Rodriguez with a snap throw down to third base, and Cabrera back in plenty of time. He's the pitch missing to Mirabelli, and a full count now.
Now that's one thing about Pudge Rodriguez. He's always had the great throwing arm, and he loves to show it off. Pickoff plays at first base, second base, and that time an attempt at third base.
7 career pickoffs. They tried to pick Cabrera off there at third base. Mirabelli lines it down the left field line. It is headed for the corner, but a foul ball. Not much foul ground down there, but Mirabelli finds it. To the payoff pitch, grounded to third. Munson looking Cabrera back, and then the throw across in time to get Mirabelli. No advance for the Red Sox base runner. Cabrera had to stay at third, and there's 2 down.
Mirabelli chases a changeup. It looks like that's down and away, and with that infield in, the ground ball right at third base, that's going to hold Cabrera. And the Red Sox have had some difficulties getting those runners home in scoring position with less than 2 outs.
So 2 down, and it brings up David McCarty, the Red Sox first baseman. McCarty at .254, 3 homers, and 16 runs batted in. McCarty against left-handed pitching, hitting at .240 on the season. David has really picked it up lately from an offensive standpoint over the last 14 games. He is 12 for 34, hitting at .353. Robertson falling behind 3-0. David McCarty.
Remember earlier this season, McCarty had a big home run at Fenway Park on a 3-0 count. Of course, this ballpark is not Fenway. It's just a little bit bigger.
Already taken all the way this time, and he takes a strike over the outside corner. The Red Sox today facing Nate Robertson. Stands at 6'2", 215 pounds, from Wichita, Kansas. 26-year-old left-hander. A strike and a full count now. McCarty thought he had ball 4, but gets the bad news from Greg Gibson.
Again, not a pitch you want to swing at 3-1 because it's down and away, but certainly it looked like close enough to be a strike for Gibson. 3-1, you want to let that one pass. That's a rollover ground ball to shortstop.
Now the 3-2. McCarty chopping it foul outside of third base. Nate Robertson thrown 22 pitches. Selected by the Chicago White Sox in the 35th round of June 1995. Did not sign, then was taken by Florida in the 5th round in 99. Did sign. Ball 4 to McCarty, surrounding the plate but missing away. And the first walk of the afternoon given up by Nate Robertson. So 2 down. Cabrera at third base, McCarty at first, and here's Bill Miller. And this will bring Rodriguez out to talk to Nate Robertson, who's acquired by the Tigers along with Rob Hinkle and Gary Knotts from the Florida Marlins. In exchange for Mark Redmond, January of 2003. Robertson first getting to the big leagues with the Marlins in 2002, and last year made 8 starts for the Tigers and was 1-2. And here this afternoon, looking for victory number 10 of the year. Robertson coming in at 9-6 with a 4.31 earned run average. His 24th appearance, 22nd start. Ball 2 to Bill Miller, and it's 2-0.
Now, so far, Don, I haven't seen much of that breaking ball that we had heard about in the scouting report. Basically, it's been fastball changeup.
Miller lines it into center field, a base hit. Cabrera scores from third, and we're tied at 1. Bill Miller with a 2-out RBI single has tied the game.
Well, Bill Miller now starting to heat it up. He's 8 for his last 16. Big 2-out base hit. You know, you get that ground ball to third base. You don't score the run. It's followed by a walk to McCarty. Now Miller makes him pay on that high fastball. Line drive to straightaway center, and the Red Sox tie the game at 1.
So 2 down, 2 on. The number 9 hitter, Gabe Kapler, standing in on the right side. Kapler at 271 on the season, 4 homers and 20 runs batted in. Over the last 20 starts for Kapler, he's hit at .338. The former Detroit Tiger was here in 1998 and 1990, coming up in the Tigers system. Line into left field, down the line. Trying to score from second base is McCarty. He will. The throw comes back in, and the Red Sox lead it 2-1. Gabe Kapler driving in the go-ahead run for Boston. He picks up his 21st RBI of the season, and the Red Sox on top 2-1.
Good clutch 2-out hitting here in this inning by the Red Sox. First Bill Miller, now Gabe Kapler. He gets a fastball down knee high, and a line shot in the left field. McCarty scores easily. Dale Swaim will hold Bill Miller at third base. So the Red Sox doing some 2-out damage. That's going to bring Bob Cluck, the pitching coach, out of the dugout to have a conversation with Robertson.
That was a nice pitch.
Robertson's been one of their top starters all season long. You look at his numbers, they're fairly impressive. 249 average against, 9 wins. He goes deep into ball games. He's given them 6-7 innings a game.
Well, here in the second inning, he's thrown 28 pitches and is not yet out of the inning. Came close to getting it out of this inning unscathed with 2 outs. The Red Sox had Cabrera at third, but he walked McCarty, gave up an RBI single to Bill Miller. Now an RBI double for Gabe Kapler. Red Sox on top 2-1, 2 in scoring position, and here's Johnny Damon, who singled to right field his first time up. Swinging to a miss. Damon down 0-2.
Is that breaking ball there? Something between a curve and a slider. People around here in Detroit, those who follow Robertson, call it a slurve.
Damon lifts it to short left center field. Jason Smith, the shortstop, making the catch. But the Red Sox come up with a pair at the end of an inning and a half. Boston on top 2-1.
In Detroit, the Red Sox have the 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the second. Well, do you know how easy it is to dress like your favorite player? Just go to RedSox.com, click on shop for everything from player jerseys, t-shirts, and caps. RedSox.com for all of your Red Sox merchandise. Trot Nixon fan.
Last half of the second inning, Carlos Pena, Craig Monroe, and Eric Munson to face Tim Wakefield, who now has a lead to work with for the first time today. Wakefield surrendering a solo home run to Ivan Rodriguez in the first inning. Carlos Pena, kind of a disappointing season at .228, 13 homers and 53 runs batted in. Done very well against the Red Sox. The Haverhill, Massachusetts resident, Carlos Pena, .339 against Boston. Ahead of Tim Wakefield, 2-1. On the ground towards McCarty. He'll use Wakefield, and there's one away.
Well, I'm sure the Red Sox will be very happy to return to Fenway Park. You think about it, Don, after the All-Star break, you open up on a road trip to the West Coast. You come home for what do you have, 5 games at home?
It was quick. Might have been 6. 5 or 6.
And then back on the road for a 2-week job. So Fenway's going to look strange when you get back.
17 of the last 23 have been away from Fenway Park, and the Red Sox playing .500 baseball for the most part. A chance today to have a winning road trip as they are 5-5 on the trip coming into today's action. The trip, of course, was shortened by a game due to the rainout after 2 innings at Camden Yards in Baltimore, the second game of that series. There were 2 off days on the road trip as well. In the air to left field, hit well. Millard headed back, and Monroe taking this one well out of here. Second Tiger home run of the day. Monroe with his 5th has tied the game at 2. Another solo shot for the Tigers.
Interesting story on Monroe in the newspaper this morning. Now, here's a guy just coming off the DL with a bad hamstring. He went down on a rehab assignment and realized how much he missed being in the big leagues. He says, I wouldn't have enough fun at the big league level. Well, he's having fun here. Long home run by Craig Monroe, just today activated. Actually, yesterday activated, but first game that he's played since coming back.
Tigers sending down Mike DeFelice. And the move to activate Craig Monroe. Eric Munson, the Tigers' 3rd baseman, batting for the first time today. Home run for Monroe is now his 5th of the season. This one is hit very well to right field, and that is gone. One of the bullpens beyond the fence in right field. Back-to-back home runs for the Tigers. And Detroit just like that on top 3-2.
Don, we were talking yesterday about Wakefield in this game today, and you figured one thing that would be in his advantage were home runs, because he does give up home runs, but in a big ballpark you say, well, maybe that'll work to his advantage. Not so. 3 so far in this game. That's 17 allowed now on the season. That ties him with Pedro for the most on the Red Sox team.
3 home runs in just 2 innings for the Tigers. And there's still just 1 out in the second. Marcus Timms standing in, getting the start in left field today for Detroit. Hit hard and over the outstretched glove of Youkilis into left field. The first single of the day for the Tigers on their 4th hit. Sox, Tim Wakefield, as they prepare to face Jason Smith, the shortstop. Check swing, they'll appeal, and no, says Jerry Davis. He didn't offer.
It's our first look at Jason Smith in the lineup today at shortstop. Carlos Guillen getting the day off. The Tigers have a day off tomorrow, so Trammell wanted to give him back-to-back days.
They're headed on a lengthy road trip. This one, Hugh down to third. Youkilis on the run and in time, and a nice play by Youkilis. Up to second base goes Marcus Thames with now 2 down.
Little squib down that third base line, and Youkilis is able to get the ball and come up in a good throwing position to make the throw. Smith did not run all that well down the line, and Youkilis gets him by a couple of steps. Nice play by Kevin down at third base.
So 2 down, Marcus Thames at second base, and it's back up to the top of the order for Alex Sanchez. And on the grass at third is Kevin Youkilis. Sanchez swinging away, pops it up. Mirabelli coming back, may have a play at the screen. He can't make the catch as it hit the screen first. Now these Tigers are headed on a West Coast swing. Tomorrow will be a travel day for them on the off day. And they'll play 3 with Oakland, 3 with Anaheim, another off day, and then 3 with the Chicago White Sox.
Infield pulled in for Sanchez all the way around. 29 bunt hits on the season. And that'll cause some adjustments in that infield.
Sanchez grounded out to first base his first time up. Amazing how much havoc a guy like Sanchez can cause in an infield.
And to me, though, I don't agree with it, because as a man on second base, if he bunts, so what? It's going to be first and third. If he swings away with that drawn-in infield like that, scoots one by him, it's a run.
Swing and a miss, and it evens up now at 2-2. Ground, lunging to his right is Miller. He'll fire to first, and the inning is over. But a pair of runs on back-to-back home runs for the Tigers. Detroit on top 3-2. The Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Honda, by Miller Beer, and by Volvo, the official vehicle of the Boston Red Sox. Third inning back in Detroit. The Tigers back on top 3-2. Back and forth we go, and it is Kevin Youkilis to lead it off here in the top half of the third inning. Youkilis popping out to second base his first time up. Nate Robertson coming into the inning having thrown 38 pitches through the first 2 innings. A very lengthy second inning. Now Youkilis puts a charge into this one to deep left field. Back goes Thames at the wall, and that is gone. Kevin Youkilis with his 5th home run of the year, and it's home run day here in Detroit. That one has tied the score at 3.
Well, it sure is. You know, in this ballpark, you don't expect to see this many home runs in a whole series. But they're flying out of here today. Hard to tell what that pitch was, Don. It was only about 81 miles an hour. Whatever it was, Youkilis put a charge in it, and I think it even would have made that fence a couple of years ago. Yeah, it would have.
Here's Millar, who hits it hard on one hop to Jason Smith at shortstop. And Millar's retired for the inning's first out. Let's check in with Eric Freed. Eric?
Don, you and Jerry were discussing before the comments made by Kevin Millar before yesterday's game, and then after the game, he kind of clarified what he said. When I asked him about, will there be a set lineup for this team? Can this team succeed without a set lineup? Here's what he said.
I think it'll be a set lineup. I think it'll be a set lineup. I don't think I don't think winning teams you can go ahead and put 4 or 5 different lineups out there a week. I mean, I think the bottom line is you got to know when you're in there, and it's tough to come in and check the lineup, but everything's going to work out. It always works out, but like I said, sometimes I put my heart in my sleeve, but it's nothing against anybody. It's just wanting to play and wanting to win baseball games.
Terry Francona saying today before the game he understands that Kevin would be frustrated but wished he had handled it a different way, and the lineup in flux again today. A couple of minutes before noon, Manny Ramirez said he was unable to go today, so he was a late scratch, and yet another lineup change, guys.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. David Ortiz batting.
Now, Don, we started to mention that earlier. We talked a lot about it in the pregame show. And, I always believe is if you got a beef, you take it to the manager right away. You close the door and you discuss it, see what the problem might be. You come to some kind of understanding. Big Poppy going back, way back, but not deep enough. How's that for play-by-play, Don?
Very nice. 2 down.
And, unfortunately, he let all this out to the media, which it really shouldn't do. And, we kind of touched upon it yesterday. I agree with the fact that you do need some kind of a set lineup, but there are going to be parts of this lineup now that are going to change daily, depending on who's pitching, a right-hander and a left-hander. And Millar is affected by that in some ways more than other guys, because first base now is going to be taken over by Minkiewicz for most of the time. You're going to get some playing time for McCarty as Cabrera picks up a base hit. I'm doing all the play-by-play, Don.
Go ahead.
And then, they're going to have to mix and match. Now, I do agree. I mean, there are parts, leadoff, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. You'd like to see constant every day. But when you look at the bottom of this lineup, I think that's going to change on a daily basis.
I was just going to say, I don't think it's going to be a set lineup. And if you look at it, and also some of the comments by Millar is a little bit surprising, and they say nothing against Terry Francona, but it is Francona who makes that lineup out every day.
Well, and the other thing is, too, when Kevin Millar was struggling big time early in the season, Francona stuck with him.
Yes, he did.
When a lot of people didn't want to see him in the lineup. So
some lean time.
You say things like he did, and then you sit back and you say, I shouldn't have said that. And that's basically what happened today. And I guess he did have a meeting with Francona. And, you can't blame Francona for being upset about it.
Cabrera at first base. He's 2 for 2 in the game. Mirabelli grounded out to third base his first time up.
One thing about Francona, and I would certainly put him in the category of the ultimate player's manager. Very easy to go in and talk to, and a lot of guys have. And I think that would be the approach to take first, before you go out and say something publicly that makes everybody look bad.
And as it turned out in the end, with Manny Ramirez having the flu last night, Millar did indeed get in the starting lineup. Those comments coming from Millar prior to the game when he thought he was not in the lineup, and looking up the matchups, the LT should have been in the lineup, ended up in the lineup last night, and is back in there again today. Not to mention the fact that he started every game since the trade took place. Very concerned with Cabrera at first base with 2 down. Cabrera widens the lead a little bit. Mirabelli waiting on the 2-0. Up and away, and Robertson having trouble right now as he falls behind Mirabelli 3-0. Up to 53 pitches with just 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. Leadoff home run by Kevin Youkilis here in the top half of the 3rd inning has tied the score at 3. Ravelli out after the 3-0, had the green light, and he fouls it off.
Yeah, trying to pull that pitch, but it's not a good 3-0 pitch to try to pull. The ball seemed to be up and away from Mirabelli. You know, and a manager has to decide when you look at your personnel, who are guys that I can give the green light to 3-0 and who I can't. Because some guys, if they get the green light 3-0, they win. They're going as soon as they see a fastball.
All four to Mirabelli, and the second walk given up by Nate Robertson. The Red Sox with 2 down have something going, and this will bring Bob Cluck, the pitching coach, out once again for the Tigers.
Last night, Jeremy Bonderman settled down after a shaky first couple of innings, but Robinson really struggling here today. A lot of pitches early in this ball game. Having a tough time finding the strike zone. Well, each time the Red Sox win at Fenway Park, and yes, we will be back there tomorrow, Hood donates $1,500 to the Hood Home Team Advantage charity program. The program benefits children's hospitals throughout New England. It's another reason you can feel good about Hood.
And the Red Sox will be returning home to take on the Tampa Bay Devil Rays for 4 games, the Chicago White Sox for 3, and the Toronto Blue Jays for 3. We're heading back out on the road again. David McCarty walked and scored his first time up in the second inning. But after the first pitch from Robertson, skying it foul off the right side. Red Sox were 1-1 in Baltimore. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Minnesota Twins, took 2 out of 3 from the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and are trying to take 2 out of 3 from the Tigers. This one squirts away from Rodriguez. Everybody will move up. Cabrera to third, Mirabelli to second, as that one just squirted through.
That's a ball that Pudge really should be able to block, and not that difficult to play. It goes right through the 5-hole, and Red Sox get 2 men in the scoring position. Comes up too soon. Got to keep the glove on the ground, drop the knees to the ground, and just block it. Don't try to catch it.
And the charge Robertson with a wild pitch that advances the runners. McCarty with a swing and a miss. And it's 1-2 to David McCarty. McCarty strikes out. Robertson settles down to get the strikeout, but a leadoff home run for Kevin Youkilis. We're tied at 3.
Action here early in this ball game, all tied at 3. We're better than Fenway Park to celebrate your next birthday. From the beautiful 406 Club overlooking the field to the green monster seats or the new right field roof, America's most beloved park has several locations ideally suited to fans of all ages and parties of all sizes all year round. For more information, send an email to events@redsox.com. Grand Rapids, Michigan represented today at the ball game. Seems like there's more Red Sox fans here today than there have been in the first 2 games of the series.
I would agree. Here for the day game after a couple of night games. Omar Infante leading it off in the last half of the 3rd inning. Infante fly to left his first time up. Line to left and in for a leadoff base hit. Wakefield was looking for an easy 1-2-3 inning, and the Tigers have the lead runner on for the first time today.
Now both managers looking for their starting pitchers to settle down in this ball game and put up some zeros. Both guys, Tim Wakefield, Robertson, off to tough starts.
So Infante at first base, and here's Ivan Rodriguez, who hit a solo home run in the first inning. The home run was his 14th of the season. First pitch strike from Tim Wakefield. They were scoreless in the last half of the first with 2 down when Ivan Rodriguez took it yard. Since then, the Tigers have hit 2 home runs. Craig Monroe and Eric Munson going back-to-back in the second inning. And Kevin Youkilis, a solo shot for the Red Sox. Rodriguez has put together some pretty impressive home run numbers over his career. He had the high for him in terms of home runs, 35 home runs. He hit back in 1999 as a member of the Texas Rangers. Runner is off, and Rodriguez fouls it off. The league leaders are brought to you by Volvo, the official vehicle of the Boston Red Sox. And even though Ivan Rodriguez has struggled lately, the number is still very impressive in terms of batting average, still third in the American League behind Ichiro and Melvin Mora. His teammate Alex Sanchez sneaking into the top 5 at 324.
Manny's dropped to 9th in the league with a 320 batting average.
Rodriguez hits it to left field deep in far. Millar headed back, and that is gone. The second home run of the day for Ivan Rodriguez. The Tigers on top 5-3. What is going on today? 4 home runs now for the Tigers, 2 for Ivan Rodriguez.
You know, when he made contact, it was hit well, but I didn't think he quite had enough to get it over that fence. More of a line drive home run for Ivan Rodriguez. Again, it's the knuckleball that stays inside. And really 2 mistakes by Wakefield. Rodriguez, that first home run he hit was a high pitch. That time up and in, and a line drive home run. I think even Pledge thought it was going to have enough to get out of the ballpark.
So the 18th home run surrendered by Tim Wakefield. The 15th home run of the season for Ivan Rodriguez. Dave Wallace, the pitching coach, out to talk to Tim Wakefield. He's given up a single and a home run here in the 3rd inning. Wakefield has surrendered 4 home runs over 2+ innings.
And of course, with that activity in the bullpen, it looks like Mendoza starting to loosen up. He's made about 4 throws.
And he is now the guy that the Red Sox are really looking to for long relief. As Dimitri Young stands in and fouls the first pitch back below us.
You know, we're seeing a lot of knuckleballs stay high, and that's really not a good sign for Wakefield. Curveball that time.
In there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Grounds it back up the middle. Second base, Miller off balance and against the grain, throws out Dimitri Young. Nice play by Bill Miller, wandering in behind the bag at second, had all of his motion headed towards the outfield, but able to throw out Dimitri Young.
Yeah, unfortunately it was Dimitri Young running. He does not run well. Usually Wakefield makes that play, it jumps right over his shoulder, but a lot of ground covered there by Miller, and in time to get Young at first base. You know, I look at Dimitri Young. He's a switch hitter, Don. I wonder why you would be hitting right-handed today in this ballpark against Wakefield. You know, left-handed, you got probably a better chance to hit it out. It's shorter out there.
We've seen a lot of guys who opt to bat from the right side, but you're right. Here in Tigers, I was going to say Tiger Stadium here at Comerica Park, that short fence in right field. Not taking advantage of that, and Dimitri Young's 0 for 2. This one is hit deep and far to right field, and that ball is gone. Carlos Pena, the Northeastern standout, has hit the 5th home run of the day off Tim Wakefield, and the Tigers up their lead to 6-3.
Well, there are some days you come to the ballpark and it's not there, and it's not there today for Tim Wakefield. My goodness. 5 home runs in 3 innings. Carlos Pena, number 14 on the season.
Ties a career high for home runs allowed by Tim Wakefield, September 15th of 1996 against the White Sox.
Again, that knuckleball just not doing anything at all. Wakefield knows it's gone. He's just looking for another baseball.
A staggering 5 home runs for the Tigers through 2 1/3 innings. Craig Monroe, who has one of those home runs, now batting with 1 out, and the base is empty. On the ground to third base, Youkilis on to McCarty for out number 2. So 2 down, and it'll bring up Eric Munson. Boston with a solo shot in the second inning, his 16th home run of the year.
You notice the approach a lot of these hitters are taking too. A lot of them are standing there with the bat on their shoulder, just trying to be as relaxed as possible, wait back as long as they possibly can, and then explode.
And they have exploded. There's the pitch in there for a strike, and it's 0-2 to Munson. Mendoza continues to warm up. Wakefield trying to get out of this inning. The ground ball right side. Miller on to McCarty, and that'll do it in the inning. 2 home runs in the inning, 5 in the game off Tim Wakefield. The Tigers lead it 6-3. Tigers on top 6-3 as we head to the top of the 4th inning, and it's time now for our Aflac trivia question. The question today: what former Major League Park center field distance measured at one time 505 feet? We'll have the answer for you in the next half inning. 505, that is amazing.
I've got it. I know the answer to that, Don.
Did you play there?
No. No, I didn't.
Bill Miller leading it off. Gabe Kapler and Johnny Damon to bat here in the 4th inning. Miller lifts it to center field. Alex Sanchez, a late break, but still able to run it down. No, he's going to drop it. He got there and had to go off the glove, and Miller still running, gets into second base. Sanchez with a bad break, a real bad read at first, and then unable to come up with it even though he was there, and he's charged with an error.
That's 9 errors now for Sanchez in center field for the Tigers, and you can see how upset he is with himself. I mean, this is pretty much a routine play. He did get a late break, but still, I mean, that ball's led a high and just drops it. Bill Miller thinks he's out. Now he's not, and now he goes to second base and makes it easily. Not exactly busting it out of the box, but once he saw that ball dropped, unfortunately, he was able to make it to second base.
Kapler a double his first time up. Able to drive in a run. Hits it hard on the ground, but foul outside of third. So the error committed by Alex Sanchez, the first of the game for either side. Red Sox trying to take advantage. The Red Sox have left 4 men on through the first 3 innings, including runners in scoring position. Second and third in the second, and again in the 3rd inning. To right field and a base hit for Kapler. Miller had to wait, see if he'd get through, and he only gets to third base. Gabe Kapler's 2 for 2.
And on second base, Kapler shooting the ball the other way, still early in the ball game. Do the fundamental things the correct way, and he gets a bonus, gets the base hit. Miller had to wait to make sure that ball was not caught. He does not want to get doubled up 3 runs down. Can only make it as far as third base.
So Boston with runners at the corners. Third at bat for Johnny Damon. He swings at the first pitch and rifles it foul under the Red Sox dugout. Damon with a single in the first. He popped out to shortstop in the second inning. Miller at third, Kapler at first. Nobody out. Damon taking strike 2, and he's down 0-2. Sox last year against the Tigers went 8-1. This is just the first meeting of the year between the 2 clubs. Damon sends it out towards right center field, towards the gap. That's going to roll to the track and the wall. Miller scores from third. Kapler being waved around all the way from first base. It's a 2-run triple for Johnny Damon, and the Red Sox back within a run. 6-5 Tigers.
Bad breaking ball that time from Robertson. Leaves it out over the plate, and Johnny Damon finds that gap deep in right center field. That's just about an automatic triple here at Comerica Park. For Damon, his third triple of the season, but more importantly, gets the Red Sox back within one. We might be here a while today, Don.
6-5. The Tigers on top. The Red Sox still batting in the top half of the fourth inning. Youkilis had a home run his last time up, his 5th home run of the season. And at the time tied the score 3-3, but it's now 6-5 Tigers. Roberto Novoa up in the Tigers bullpen as this one lifted down the right field line. On the run is Monroe, but that'll land back into the seats. There's Novoa, who pitched in game 1 of the series on Friday night.
And pitched very well against the Red Sox, striking out almost everybody he faced.
And into Youkilis, and it's 2-1 now to Youkilis. The Red Sox have the tying run 90 feet away with nobody out in the inning. Into center field, a base hit. Damon will scamper home with a game-tying run. Youkilis with his second hit and his second RBI, and we're tied at 6.
Well, I'm having a terrible day analyzing this ball game because I said the Red Sox will probably get 2 here in the top of the 4th. They've already got 3, and there's still nobody out.
You're still trying your best.
Alan Trammell sending his third baseman Munson and to catch a Pudge Rodriguez out to delay to get the Novoa ready.
Novoa's not been up for very long as the home plate umpire Greg Gibson heads out.
Mentioned Novoa coming in the other night against the Red Sox. He had 4 strikeouts against Boston. His 3 of them. Manny Ramirez going down on the breaking ball. The same thing to Jason Varitek, and another breaking ball to Kevin Millar.
Up from Double-A, Novoa certainly opened the eyes of the coaching staff here for the Tigers, and we may very well see him in the very near future. Millar's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. Once into a double play in the first inning, then bounced out to shortstop in the 3rd inning. Strike to even the count, and 1-1 to Millar. In the last 15 games, Millar hitting at .471, 24 for his last 51. There you go. They'll check it first. No, says Bruce Dreckman, first base umpire. Robertson up to 75 pitches in his outing as he works here in the 4th. So far touched for 6 runs. Missing away, and it's now 3-1. Now the question is, do you stick with Tim Wakefield despite the tough start that he's had here today? We've seen it many times before. All of a sudden he gets it back and he can give you 3 or 4 more innings.
Yeah, I think he's going to get one more crack at it in the 4th inning. Mendoza is sat down in the bullpen.
Ball 4 to Millar. Able to work the walk. It's been a very tough inning for Robertson, who's given up 4 hits in a row and now has walked a batter as Millar down to first base, and here comes Alan Trammell. It's been a struggle all day for the Tigers starter, the left-hander Nate Robertson, who will depart. Novoa making his way in. We're tied at 6 from Comerica Park.
No shortage of runs in Detroit today, all tied at 6th, and we're only in the top of the 4th. The Red Sox Foundation is a new, vibrant force in Boston, benefiting the Jimmy Fund, the Red Sox Scholars, community athletic programs, and Dimmock Community Health Center, just to name a few. The Red Sox Foundation welcomes your participation as well. You can send donations in any amount to the Red Sox Foundation at Fenway Park, Boston, Mass. 02215. For more information on the Red Sox Foundation, go to theremereport.com, click on Red Sox Foundation, and check out all their upcoming events.
Nate Robertson, done after 3+ innings, has thrown 77 pitches, still on the hook for the 2 men on, allowing 6 runs, and he turns things over to Roberto Novoa.
5th appearance for Novoa and the 2nd of this series. As we mentioned earlier, career high 4 guys he struck out against the Red Sox, all on breaking balls on Friday night. Just called up from Double-A Erie, and that was on July the 28th. We saw a moving fastball down about 93, 94 that would tail in on right-handers, and of course that slider.
And to face David Ortiz, who's 0 for 2. And he grabs the outside corner on Ortiz for strike 1. David is grounded out to first base and fly deeply to center field. Making the jump from Double-A Erie. Some impressive numbers at Double-A for Novoa. Inning in a 3rd here on Friday night. His first major league victory right out of the gate. In the dirt, knocked down by Ivan Rodriguez. No advance. Looked like Ulis may have wanted to try it, but he ducks back to the bag at second.
Tough to judge. When that ball bounced out in front of the home plate, it's hard to tell for that runner at second base just how far it is. And if there's any question at all, you stay home because you're already in scoring position.
Foul off the left side. That'll even the count at 2-2. Ortiz in his first game back last night was 1 for 4 with a couple of RBIs. To right field, hit well, headed towards the pole, and it is gone. A 3-run home run for David Ortiz, his 28th home run of the year, as the Red Sox on top 9-6.
Well, the other night for Novoa, every breaking ball he threw was perfect, away from the hitters. Watch this breaking ball as it just stays right out over the plate, and that's one that Papi Ortiz is going to clean out for the home run. So what a difference a couple of days make. That's the pitch that nobody could hit 2 days ago. Today, it's a home run.
A 6-run inning for the Red Sox so far, and there's still nobody out. Orlando Cabrera 2 for 2 in this one, a double and a single.
All this mess too started with a very catchable ball in center field that was dropped by Sanchez.
So an unbelievable turn of events here. The Red Sox putting up some serious numbers. They had been frustrated really through the first 3, leaving 4 men on, and the Red Sox scoring 3 times but having to play catch up. And they have caught up and gone on. Red Sox on top now 9-6. Cabrera almost bending into that pitch.
Cabrera, one of those hitters that kind of dives into the ball, and then that fastball there will just move him back off the plate.
Check swing foul off the right side back into the seats. And it's 2-2 to Cabrera. So the error that allowed Bill Miller to reach second base to begin the inning by Alex Sanchez. Single for Kapler, then Johnny Damon with a 2-run triple. Youkilis with a single, Millar a walk, and A 3-run home run by David Ortiz to put the Red Sox on top 9-6. The Red Sox now with 2 home runs today, Ortiz and Youkilis, while the Tigers have 5 home runs. And we got a long way to go. Red Sox batting here in the top of the 4th.
Another bad breaking ball that time. He made a good one that Cabrera fouled off, but this next one is one that is fortunate stayed at the ballpark.
Pitch number 30 of the inning for Tigers pitching. This car fouled off the right side. And there's still nobody out. Get out of the way of that pitch. A full count now. The book is closed on Nate Robertson, the starter for the Tigers, who is on the hook now. He works 3+ innings, giving up 9 hits, 8 runs. 7 of the 8 runs earned. Walked 3 and struck out 1. Popped up. Infante ducking back onto the outfield grass to handle the first out of the inning. A mock cheer goes up here at Comerica Park.
We've heard a couple of mock cheers here in this ballpark. Last night it was when finally somebody made contact against Pedro Martinez. There was a mock cheer for that, and now a mock cheer for the first out of this inning. Who was that made contact? Carlos Pena. Yeah, that's who it was.
After Pedro had struck out the first 5.
Yeah.
Doug Mirabelli standing in with 1 down. Grounded out to third base in the 2nd inning. He walked in the 3rd. Noah trying to grab his bearings after giving up the 3-run home run to David Ortiz. Outside of first and foul. Still 1-2 to Mirabelli. And starting tomorrow, the Red Sox will play 30 of their final 53 games at Fenway Park, including 20 of their next 26 games. Red Sox have the 3rd best home record in all of baseball, 33-18. Mirabelli waving at that pitch and striking out for out number 2.
Now that's more like the breaking ball Red Sox hitters saw on Friday night. It was down, usually away from right-handers. At least this one here is down for Novoa. The one he threw to Ortiz is one that most power hitters will take out of the ballpark. Go hit hard someplace.
9th man to bat for the Red Sox here in the top of the 4th inning, and it's David McCarty. Walked in the 2nd inning, struck out swinging in the 3rd. The 2-1 to McCarty. Swing and a miss. That fooled him, and it evens up now. 2-2. Bill Miller waits on deck.
Ever notice Pudge Rodriguez throw the ball back to the pitcher? It's almost as hard as the pitcher throws home.
Or harder. Reminds a little bit of Tony Pena in the return throw. Champion Florida Marlins a year ago and finding a new home here with the Detroit Tigers this season. McCarty punches at it and strikes out, but a very productive inning for the Red Sox. After the leadoff era, the Red Sox go on to score 6 times and now lead it 9-6. Line score through 3.5. The Red Sox are on the right side of it, however, on top 9-6. But it's time now for the answer to our Aflac trivia question.
Aflac!
What former Major League Park center field distance measured at one time 505 feet? The answer, the Polo Grounds in New York City. 1911 to 1957, the New York Giants played their home games there. Distance at center field changed many times over the years, but in the 30s and 40s, it was 505 feet from home plate to center field. Measurements down the left field and right field lines are very cozy, however. 279 down the left field line, 257 to right.
You want to be a pull hitter, right?
Yeah.
Especially in that ballpark. Home plate started in New York and the outfield ended in New Jersey.
The reason for these odd distances, Jerry, was the Polo Grounds was shaped like a horseshoe, which figured into those odd distances. But you didn't know that.
You know, as a matter of fact, Don, I did.
You did know that.
I did know the answer to that question. Yeah, I've seen pictures of the old Polo Grounds.
Marcus Thames leading it off and taking the 1-2 to even the count at 2-2.
Matter of fact, when the team was on the road, they used to play horseshoes there.
Really? A full count now to Thames. Shallow left center. Out goes Cabrera. In comes Millar. And Millar takes charge and makes the catch for the first out. A 23-minute wait for Tim Wakefield while the Red Sox were scoring 6 times, but he's got the first out of this inning.
Well, we'll see if Wakefield can settle himself down in this game. Certainly it's been a rough 3 innings. Now has the 9-6 lead. And you're right, Don. You know, you mentioned it earlier. Knuckleball pitches are very difficult for managers to read. I mean, it happens so quickly. But then you can have 3 innings like Wakefield had and come back and shut him out for 5.
And I think the toughest thing for managers also is that sometimes it happens so quickly you don't have a chance to get anybody up. And we have seen that before also, where things will be cruising right along and then all of a sudden it's 3-4 runs in no time and we really don't have much of a chance to get anybody up. Smith fouls it back to the backstop and it evens up at 1-1. Jason Smith, the Tigers shortstop today. Carlos Guillen, who's had a fine series and a great year getting the day off. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Jason Smith from Meridian, Mississippi. He takes strike 3 and takes with him the first strikeout of the day for Tim Wakefield. 2 down.
And the one thing he'd love to do in this inning is get the Tigers down 1-2-3. Have himself an easy inning. That's the curveball for the strikeout. But also get his offense back up the plate while they have all the momentum in this game.
So 2 down, back up to the top of the order for Alex Sanchez, who is 0 for 2 today. He's grounded out to first and has grounded out to second base. Now in his second season with the Tigers. Previous 3 spent as a member of the Milwaukee Brewers. Originally a 5th round pick of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, but was claimed off waivers by the Brewers. And saw his first major league action in 2001 with Milwaukee.
One of the best knuckleballs that Wakefield's thrown today. It had the most drop on it.
Wakefield trying to enjoy his first 1-2-3 inning of the game, and he does. Back-to-back strikeouts for Wakefield. Down in order go the Tigers at the end of 4. Boston on top 9-6. Back in Detroit as we head to the top half of the 5th inning. The Red Sox on top 9-6. Roberto Novoa back out on the mound for the Tigers. Tim Wakefield enjoying his first 1-2-3 inning of his outing, and the pitching line is brought to you by Nissan. Tough first couple of innings for Wakefield, including 5 home runs for the Detroit Tigers today. 6 total runs over 4 innings allowed by Tim Wakefield. And he's 65 pitches deep. Even with the 5 home runs, the Red Sox still have allowed the fewest home runs in the American League. Well, Wakefield settling down very nicely in the last half of the 4th.
I'll bet there have not been many games in Wakefield's career where he's allowed 5 home runs, first of all, and still have the lead.
Be hard to imagine. It's the second time in his career that he's given up 5 home runs. First was September 15th of 1996 against the Chicago White Sox. Novoa has fallen behind 3-0. And ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to Bill Miller to begin things here in the top of the 5th. Red Sox have the lead runner on for the 4th time in 5 innings. Bob Cluck, who has been on the mound quite a bit, up there again to talk this time to Novoa. First trip to talk to Novoa. Rodriguez is going to continue the conversation after the pitching coach left.
No activity right now in the bullpen for the Tigers.
Gabe Kapler will be the hitter. He's 2 for 2 from his number 9 spot. The Red Sox order a double in the 2nd inning, a single in the 4th. Double in the 2nd. He was able to drive in a run, his 21st RBI of the season. Novoa with a 4-pitch walk to Miller, now falling behind Kapler 2-0. Field deep and straight away for the Tigers. The pitch a strike to Kapler, and it's 2-1. Red Sox losing the first game of the series 4-3. In that game, Novoa was the winner out of the bullpen. Last night, Pedro Martinez with the victory. A 7-4 Red Sox win. Jeremy Bonderman suffering the loss. Novoa is 2-2. Will have to wait as they check on Miller over at first base, having to dive back. A full count now to Kapler. Nate Robertson, the starter today for the Tigers, went 3+ innings, giving him 9 hits, 8 runs, 7 of the 8 earned. He walked 3 and struck out 1. Novoa allowing a couple of inherited runners to score, but he was touched with a 3-run home run by Ortiz. Now Kapler lifts one out to deep left center field, and on the run is Sanchez. Can't get it. That will one hop up and over, a ground rule double. They will stop Bill Miller at third base. And a strange play out there by Sanchez, just kind of throwing the glove out there and unable to come up with it.
I'll tell you what, we've done a few games in this park, and I have never seen the ball fly like it is today. Slight breeze blowing off out towards left field. But a number of balls hit hard today out of the park. Some have not made it out of the park. As Sanchez comes up short here, he's not having the best of days out there in center field. And then he runs into Timms. And looks like got a little Charlie horse.
So 2 in scoring position and nobody out for the Red Sox. And here's Johnny Damon batting for the 4th time today as he bats here in the 5th inning.
It's interesting. Early in the game, the Tigers have a 1-0 lead. They have the infield in. They trail by 3 now, and it's back at 2nd and short.
Action now in the Tigers pen. Boy, struggling here in the 5th inning and walking a double so far. Now the 2-0 to Damon, the slap foul off the left side. John Ennis, who we saw in last night's game, warming up in the Tigers pen. On the ground right side. Infante will come to the plate with it, and Bill Miller will be out. On to third as the throw came plateward went Kapler. And reaching at first base is Damon, but Infante electing to come home, and they do throw out Bill Miller.
You figure it out. He feels back, and they still throw the guy out at home plate. Ball hit hard by Johnny Damon. He looks up and he says, well, maybe I do have a chance to get Miller, even if I'm back, and he does. That's a pretty good play by the second baseman. You know, usually for a second baseman, that's a very long throw. Throws a strike to Pudge Rodriguez and gets the out. I don't get it, Don. They're giving up a run, but still they throw the man out at home plate. This is some game today.
So runners at the corners now with one down in the inning, and Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis popped out to second, homered and singled, and now sends one out to left center field. On the run and making the running catch is Marcus Timms. Tagging and trying to score is Kapler, and he does easily with great speed to the plate. And the Red Sox pick up their 10th run on top 10-6 as the Red Sox jump into double figures in terms of runs. And Kevin Youkilis with a 3 RBI afternoon.
Yeah, big day for Youkilis. The home run, a base hit to drive it a run. Now the sacrifice fly, getting the ball in the air and certainly deep enough to get the run home from third base.
Now Kevin Millar is 0 for 2 with a walk today.
By the way, too, on that play where Infante threw out the runner at home, Miller was running. It's not like he was just coasting down the line.
There goes Damon on the first pitch. The pitch, a ball. The throw down is in time. They get him. Damon thrown out trying to steal. The Red Sox grab another run. Halfway through this one, the Red Sox on top now, 10-6. Back in Detroit, Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy, along with Eric Freed. Our producer is Russ Ken, director Mike Narachi, and associate producer is Greg Petranzio. The third and final game of the series against the Tigers. Red Sox trying to take 2 out of 3 on top 10-6. As we head to the last half of the 5th inning, Omar Infante, Ivan Rodriguez, and Dimitri Young to face Tim Wakefield, who's now retired 5 Tigers in a row. And a strike in there to Omar Infante to begin the inning. The strike, and Infante is quickly down 0-2. Well, we wondered the last time that Tim Wakefield gave up 5 home runs, whether or not he left with the lead, and he did. He was up 6-5 on September 15th of 1996 when he left the game. Ended up with a no decision. The Red Sox ended up winning 9-8. Frank Thomas had 3 of the 5 home runs that day in these solo shots. Back in 1996. On the ground to the backhand goes Cabrera, and the throw in time to retire Infante for the first out of the inning. This game summary is brought to you by your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. The bombs away here today as between the two clubs 7 home runs. The Red Sox have 2, Youkilis and Ortiz. 2 today for Ivan Rodriguez. Home runs for Pena, Monroe, and Munson for the Tigers. What has been an amazing showing of power today in a ballpark that doesn't see a great deal of power on a daily basis. But playing Bay baseball from Detroit today, and plenty of home runs.
I ran into Dave Dombrowski in the hallway between innings, and he said, man, I've never seen the ball fly out of here like this. And he also mentioned that you have not seen the best of Nate Robinson. He's been much better than that this season than he looked today.
Tough outing for him today.
And he also made a comment about my shirt, which everybody in the ballpark,
Yes.
I think, has today.
He's not alone.
So, we go into the explanation of why. And
I think I've explained it at least 7 times today.
yeah, it draws attention.
Certainly does. It is an eye grabber. Walking around the clubhouse today, I try to get in, get the lineups, and then get out as soon as possible, as not to hear it from the players, which we usually do. But today, that was impossible.
Smart-looking shirts.
Certainly is. Very summery. Popped up, foul off first base. McCarty on the run towards the Red Sox dugout. Had it, lost it. Almost the basket style catch, but he runs into the railing and cannot hold on to it.
Now, again, we mentioned there is quite a bit of foul territory here in Comerica Park for one of the newer parks, and quite a long way to go for Dave McCarty. He gets to the dugout, which has the railing, takes a peek, leans over, and just bounces out of the glove. You know, it's almost like he looked up too soon or looked down too soon to see how much room he had, and then by the time he looked back up, never really got a good look at the baseball.
So Rodriguez still alive and takes a hack at the 1-2, skying it to center field. This one will stay in the yard. Damon there to make the catch. And after home runs in the first and third, Ivan Rodriguez retired this time, and there's 2 down.
I don't know if we have a shot of Wakefield, but he was kind of kidding with home plate umpire Gibson. Give me another baseball, because in most ballparks, maybe that's the 3rd home run for Ivan Rodriguez. Not here, where it's 420 to center field. Unless the umpire come out, Wakefield says he doesn't want to look. And he goes, no, it's not enough. Give me the ball. I'm only kidding.
Inside this time to Dimitri Young. 420 feet to dead center field here at Comerica Park. Young turns on this one and sends it to deep left. Millar back and can't get it. It's gone. Yet another home run, the 6th of the day for the Tigers off Tim Wakefield. A solo shot this time for Dimitri Young. And it's now 10-7.
Well, this time he will have to take a new baseball, as Dimitri Young with a line drive home run. Well, we wondered why he was hitting right-handed. I guess he has the answer right there. Another knuckleball, kind of flat from Wakefield, and this time he will take a new baseball from the home plate umpire. My goodness.
The number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 hitters all have home runs. 2 for Ivan Rodriguez. Home runs for Young now. Pena, Monroe, Munson. All home runs for the Tigers today. 6 in all. Red Sox newcomer Mike Myers got into the game after he just had a brief time to put his uniform on. Got in the first game of the series. Grounded right side. McCarty ranging. Needs Wakefield, who covers. And Carlos Pena is retired to end the inning. Home run for Dimitri Young. It's 10-7 Boston at the end of 5. Top half of the 8th inning, the Red Sox on top 10-7, and Jerry in between innings. Our good friend Rod Allen stopped by to explain his whole situation as to why what we saw a couple of innings ago of him chasing a pitcher into left field actually took place.
Yeah, he said what caused that is, I guess, in his at bat before, he ran over the catcher, and the other team felt like he gave him an elbow, so he knew he was going to get thrown at. And what he tried to do is, he said the Japanese pitchers always run toward the dugout, so he cut the dugout off.
Which he did. He was heading in that direction.
The outfield. But I mean, that's doing your homework too, but knowing that the pitchers go immediately to the dugout.
As Rod said, in between innings, he tried to get him to go upfield, which he did as he was headed towards the dugout.
I said he knew, right? I knew I was going to get thrown at, and he says I also knew that they go right immediately toward the dugout, so I tried to cut off the dugout from.
And that's where he was headed. It didn't work out that way.
Imagine throwing at somebody and running right at the dugout.
Johnny Damon able to lift it through the infield and into center field. Red Sox have the lead runner on. Damon with his 3rd hit of the day.
A lot of guys for the Red Sox having good offensive days. Damon with 3 hits, a couple for Youkilis, 2 hits for Cabrera. You got 3 hits for Kapler. I guess he also said that his team paid the fine for him too.
It's very nice. His manager. Youkilis taking a strike from Levine. That's amazing, though. I didn't know most of the pitchers will run to the dugout in that situation.
I guess he said that's the rule in Japan. If somebody charges you, you'd run to the dugout. So they were well aware of that. It's a good thing he guessed right, too. He knew exactly what dugout he was heading for.
Said he knew it was coming. There goes Damon, who takes off. Ivan Rodriguez still can throw it, and he throws out Johnny Damon. Second time that Rodriguez has thrown out Damon today.
Yeah, if I was Johnny Damon, I'd just wait for somebody else. That's the second time today that he's caught him at second base. You tip your cap to Pudge Rodriguez and say, maybe I'll just wait for some other catcher. Straight out steal. You don't see Damon looking back, and the throw right there by Pudge Rodriguez.
Youkilis hits one deep and far towards left center field. Back goes Timms at the wall. It's gone. Kevin Youkilis has gone deep twice today. His 6th home run of the year. The Red Sox open up an 11-7 lead.
Well, not bad for a guy that was a couple of breaths away from going back to Pawtucket. Four runs batted in on the day for Kevin Youkilis. 2 home runs, a base hit to drive in a run, a sacrifice fly, little slide. It didn't do much at all, and Youkilis jumps all over it.
Well, Kevin Millar is 0 for 3 with a walk today.
Don, when this park opened up, look at Pokey Reese.
Letting it all hang out. Where did Pokey go? He just walked by. I didn't even recognize him at first.
When this ballpark opened up, you could go 3 weeks without seeing this many home runs. Look at Pokey.
There's Pokey.
Got it all combed out today. Oscar Gamble. You remember Oscar Gamble?
Yes, they do.
He used to place his hat way up on top of his head. He had like 3 times the throw that Pokey has right now.
You would have played against him, right, at that time? You
Sure.
were the Yankees then?
Yeah. Cleveland Yankees. It was like twice that size. With big chops, too. Big sideburns.
2-1 is popped up. Down from first comes Carlos Pena. And then Millar runs down to first. But Pena is out, handles the out, and Millar is retired. 2 down. Time now for the game summary brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. And Johnny Damon with 3 hits today for the Red Sox at the top of that order. Kevin Youkilis has got 3 hits of his own, including 2 home runs, now 6 on the year. Millar's been held hitless this afternoon, as has Doug Mirabelli. But a pretty good offensive attack for Boston. 11 runs on 13 hits all told. The Red Sox with 3 home runs of their own. 2 for Youkilis and 1 for David Ortiz. Trammell headed to the mound. And he'll take the baseball from Al Levine. With 2 outs in the 8th, Levine leaves. Red Sox on top 11-7. Bottom of the 8th inning back in Detroit. Dave Roberts taking over in left field for Kevin Millar as we head to the last of the 8th. 11-7. Red Sox on top. And let's check in with Eric Freed. Eric?
Standing by here with our Ford fans of the game, Don. John is here. He's from Glastonbury, Connecticut, but he has a lot of friends with us here today, right? You can hold up that sign. They all drove 12 hours, but they had a caravan here. Why don't you introduce everybody to us here?
This right here is Regan Pender. That's Julie. That's Mike. That's Regan. That's Hank. That's RJ, that's Danny, and that's Chris.
There's no way I was going to remember that. Now, I don't want you to tell me where everybody's from, but how are you guys all connected? There's Illinois represented here, Swampscott, and Glastonbury, Connecticut.
Well, we're all cousins. We're all cousins.
That sums it up. You can just, the blanket statement, we're all cousins. And you are here this weekend, but Pedro's your favorite. You got a chance to see him.
Yeah, we saw him yesterday, and he had like 14 strikeouts or something. That was a good game. Came from behind, I think.
It wasn't quite 14, but it was a good game nonetheless. And you saw your favorite here. And there are a few more Sox fans here today out in the sun in beautiful Detroit, including our Ford fans of the game, Don.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. I think that's the young man we met in between innings.
I believe it is, yeah. He was just up here a couple of innings ago. Somebody brought him up. We signed an autograph for him, and he's back there. What a family reunion that is.
Long trip, but worth the trip so far.
He's amazing now. He said he was in a luxury box, and he makes his way down to get on with Eric. That's pretty good stuff.
That's a pretty good day. Dimitri Young leading it off, taking the 1-1 for ball 2, 2-1. Mike Timlin came on last inning to get the final out of the inning. You got Ivan Rodriguez to ground out to end the 7th inning. After Ramiro Mendoza had gone an inning and 2/3 to third base, Youkilis on to first for out number 1. Well, the Red Sox getting fine relief work from Ramiro Mendoza. Inning and 2/3, giving up a hit, no runs. He walked 1, struck out 1. And now Mike Timlin, the third Red Sox pitcher of the day after Tim Wakefield today. We're at the first 5, giving up 7 runs and 6 home runs. But has a chance to get the win. Carlos Pena is one of those home runs today. Goes the opposite way to left field. Roberts just into the game for defense. Can't make the catch. It's off his glove into the track of the wall. And to second base goes Carlos Pena.
Well, you know, we saw Sanchez earlier in the game in center field drop a line drive. Roberts looks like he had this in the glove and just bounced off it. Roberts just put in for Millar for defensive reasons and didn't get it in the pocket of the glove. Hit right off the fingers of the glove and gets by him.
You give him credit for a double. So Pena at second base on the double with 1 down. There's Craig Monroe.
I don't think the sun had anything to do with that. We see that Roberts did not have the glasses on. They're up on the hat. But at that particular time, the sun was not shining here in Comerica Park. It was behind one of those big puffy white clouds.
To Craig Monroe, hit a solo home run back in the 2nd inning, his 5th home run of the year. Just activated from the disabled list yesterday in his first game since coming back from the DL. On the ground towards Cabrera to first base, and 2 down in the inning. No advance for Carlos Pena with the ground ball to shortstop. 2 down. So 3 ground ball outs for Mike Timlin since coming on. Runner at second base, Eric Munson, the hitter. A solo home run for Munson back in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 3. The home run, his 16th of the season. He struggled over the last 13 games, hitting at just 176.
There's no question it's a different approach than they took against Wakefield. Remember, really, we mentioned Munson, how he was just kind of standing there with a bat on his shoulder, trying to be as relaxed and wait as long as possible. Now that he's facing a conventional pitcher, a little different. Doesn't have the bat on the shoulder.
To right center field and hit well. Deep, far, and it is gone. A 2-run home run for Eric Munson, his 2nd home run of the day, and it's a 1-run game now. Red Sox on top. a 2-run shot comes Munson.
Well, I don't know what the record is here at Comerica Park for a single game home runs by both teams, but this has got to be pushing it. Munson with a home run earlier off Wakefield, now off Timlin.
So the 7th home run of the day for the Tigers. And still a 2-run lead for the Red Sox on top 11-9. The run in the top of the 8th looms a little bit larger now. The home run by Kevin Youkilis.
Don, we have 10 home runs today by 2 teams combined. The record previous to this was 7. Minnesota had 6. The Tigers had 1. That was the previous record here at Comerica.
This is hit in the air to left field, but he'll stay in the yard. Roberts is there to make the catch. The Tigers are gone in the 8th. The Red Sox now on top 11-9 at the end of 8. Bottom of the 9th inning back in Detroit, 11-9. Red Sox on top, and the Red Sox closer into the game, Keith Foulke.
17 saves for Foulke in 22 opportunities this season.
As Don mentioned earlier, he worked last night in a non-save situation and pitched an inning, gave up a run in that ball game, did have a couple of strikeouts.
Jason Smith to lead it off. The number 9 hitter will be followed by Brandon Inge, who took over in center field, and Omar Infante.
Well, stay tuned after the game for New England's Red Sox post-game shows. First, it's W.B. Mason's extra innings, then Granite City extra innings extra.
After the last inning, the action is just beginning.
There'll be a lot to recap in this ball game today.
Yes, could take a little while. Lots of highlights. There are lots of home runs. Jason Smith to lead it off here in the last half of the 9th inning. Smith 0 for 2 with a walk so far from the number 9 spot of the Tigers order. Swing and a miss, and he's down 0-2. Foulke takes over for Mike Timlin, who worked an inning and a third, touched for 2 hits and 2 runs. Timlin giving up the 2-run home run to Eric Munson last inning. The Tigers back within 2. On the ground right side, Miller on to McCarty for the first out of the 9th. Then have a pinch hitter for Brandon Inge. Looks like Bobby Higginson has grabbed a bat. Higginson has really struggled lately. 0 for 4 here last night, but he's in the midst of an 0 for 12 skid. In the last 28 games, just 16 for 100 at 160 with 24 strikeouts. Overall, 245, 5 homers, and 44 runs batted in.
Now, I've noticed recently that Keith Foulke has been throwing a few more sliders than we saw
Early in the season, mostly fastball changeup. He's mixing in a slider every now and then.
That's a strike in there, and it's 1-1. 1 down, last half of the 9th inning. Red Sox on top 11-9. Yankees winners today. Texas losing 10-1 to Baltimore in the 7th inning. That's good news for the Red Sox. Anaheim plays tonight against Kansas City. Check swing grounder to Youkilis at third base, who is in on the grass and throws out Higginson. The pinch hitter retired, and the moves continue for Higginson. 2 down.
It's kind of a love-hate relationship. He got introduced, and he got a pretty good applause by this full house. And then as soon as he makes it out, they boo him again.
It's a tough place. So if the Red Sox are able to hold on here today, and the Rangers ended up losing, and they are down 10-1, the Red Sox should be in a tie for the wild card. So we'll have a pinch hitter Carlos Guillen coming up for Omar Infante with 2 outs in the 9th inning. What a season it's been for Carlos Guillen. Named Tigers Player of the Month in July after hitting .337 in the month of July. A step in on the grass at third is Youkilis. With 2 down in the last half of the 9th inning.
Slider again that time from Folk. He started the last 2 hitters off. Left-handed hitters with the breaking ball.
3 for 7 against Folk. A double and a triple. The center field, Damon moving in now. Over is there, and the Red Sox win a wild one today in Detroit. They hold on to win it 11-9. Despite the fact the Tigers win an amazing home run total today off Tim Wakefield and the Red Sox totally. And they're able to hold on and win it 11-9, and they have a winning road trip as the Red Sox 6-5 on what turns out to be an 11-game trip for the Red Sox, and they are headed home as they'll take on the Devil Rays.